Good day, everyone.
I was born and raised in Detroit. Growing up there, I saw people like me running things.
This is a courtroom, not a circus, so we're gonna calm down.
I'm sorry.
What I found there was a passion that I didn't know existed.
This is the bottom line.
I'm excited to free fall into the limitless possibilities with we the people. So many are fearful of the law. They think it's something that works against them.
I think you need to begin to accept responsibility for your mistakes.
We are the people.
Trina Lassiter claims she was fired after creating an easy dance routine for a bride and her 22 bridesmaids. Keisha Simmons says the routine was too difficult to perform as she's no longer a professional dancer.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello, thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Lassiter versus Simmons. Miss Lassiter, you're suing Miss Simmons for $1,250 for an unpaid balance on a contract. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Miss Simmons, you say that she failed to perform. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. Talk to me about the nature of this contract, Miss Lassiter.
Okay, so Mrs. Simmons hired me to choreograph this dance for her wedding reception, and she tells me there's going to be about 22 bridesmaids, including herself, and that they're all professional dancers, right? And we agreed to do at least, 8 dance rehearsals to be properly prepared for the wedding. So the terms were have 8 rehearsals, and then I get the payment for doing the choreography. But somewhere in there, she didn't like what I did, or she felt like they were incapable of doing it.
How much were you supposed to get paid?
$2,500.
$2,500. Was there a down payment made?
The deposit, yes, ma'am.
There was a deposit. What, 50%?
Mm-hmm.
So $1,250?
Yes, ma'am. And she's.
And
yes.
do you have that contract with you?
I do.
May I see it, please?
Absolutely.
So you're supposed to choreograph a dance. Is this just for Miss Simmons, or was this for Miss Simmons and the bridesmaids?
Yes, ma'am. So it's for the entire wedding party. So it's for Miss Simmons and the 22 bridesmaids.
22?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a lot.
Actually, this was my very first wedding. My husband and I have been married for 15 years, and we weren't able to have a wedding a long time ago. So this was a big deal for us, and I had 22 bridesmaids.
So this was like a vow renewal, but your first wedding ceremony.
Absolutely, and I've known Trina ever since she was a little baby. Yes, I'm friends with her mom as well.
So what's the problem?
Well, the problem is I had explained to Trina that I'm no longer a professional dancer. As a matter of fact, I'm a businesswoman. I have several businesses, and my bridesmaids are businesswomen, and we take care of the household. We're not dancers anymore. We haven't danced in over 20 years.
Which is why you needed the choreographer.
Exactly, and I specifically said, I need something just very simple, something that is just a little shoulder movement, a little hip movement, and maybe just a turn. But that's it. We were not looking for a Beyonce, first-time show. We weren't looking for that.
So you made up the dance, you got the deposit, and you made up the choreography.
Correct.
No, absolutely no. She didn't make up a choreography. She actually came to the first rehearsal unprepared. And then she started demonstrating very difficult moves that none of us could do, and then she couldn't break it down. So it was a mess,
Your Honor,
the first rehearsal.
Look.
So hold on. Miss Lassiter, did you come to the first rehearsal with a choreographed dance for her bridal party?
Yes, I did. And the very first rehearsal we had was 2 weeks in advance to the wedding. Now, what the contract says is that we need at least 8 weeks in advance to rehearse so that we could be properly prepared. When I get there, everybody have 2 left feet. It was a hot mess.
All right, here's the contract. Choreography fees must be paid in full 30 days prior to the event. Well, you all were already 2 weeks out, and you just did your first lesson.
Absolutely.
Exactly, because I reached out to her multiple times, and I could never get through. She had me communicating through the wedding planner.
Actually, when we had our first conversation, I had said to Trina, I'm a businesswoman, I schedule everything.
And so?
And so she didn't schedule it. And so I said, well, can you give us something? So she started sending me these TikTok tapes.
So you were getting these TikToks and you were saying to her, this isn't the vibe.
Not only that, Your Honor, it wasn't her. It wasn't her on the TikTok. She was giving me other dancers that were advanced dancers.
This was
one
a
of them did the splits. I can't do that. I told her in our initial conversation, I had back surgery a couple years ago. I can move a little, but I can't dance.
So you were looking at you were looking for some choreographed cuteness.
Yes.
For you and your bridesmaids to do what at the reception?
It was the opening dance party for the reception.
For the reception.
Yes.
All right, so Miss Lassiter, did you ever choreograph a dance literally from your artistic imagination?
Yes, ma'am, I did, and it wasn't nothing more of walking, posing, showing her ring, nothing to injure her back. I promise you it was something very simple. Would you like to see?
I was just about to say, let me see this dance.
Let's see it. So, we're here, walk, snap, swivel, shoulder ring, and leg, walk to the left, right, and step, just a little twerk, you know. Pose.
Coming up.
Now, I was gonna simplify the dance, but she hurt my feelings a little bit because I was very excited to put this together for her and be a part of the wedding. And then she just completely shut my idea down by having someone else reach out to me and fire me.
And later.
I needed to change my flight because I was in Washington, D.C., and he fired me the very next day, and I still had a week left. I mean, what kind of sadistic person does this?
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the case of Trina Lassiter, who brought Keisha Simmons to court over payment for a wedding dance routine.
Now, I'm going to say this. Ms. Lassiter, what you demonstrated, it is a cute, feminine dance. I mean, the twerking and this. I mean, she's been married for many years. There's nothing wrong with a good twerk, but she might not want to do it in front of everyone. She might want to do it privately. Mm-hmm. But if she said, hey, this is a little bit too much, can you break it down some to make it a little simpler? Could you do that?
Yes, Your Honor. She reassured me that all of the bridesmaids were professional dancers.
I think there's a big miscommunication. I did not say that. I clearly told her we are businesswomen.
Right. And if you're a businesswoman, you should have read the contract.
We're not dancers.
So I see you reaching out to Miss Simmons. I want to see when you wanted to schedule rehearsal. She says back, I'm still just so busy. Don't worry. Most of the bridal party are dancers. They'll learn quickly. And this is when you were thinking what? That the dance would be simpler?
No, I knew early on that it was going to be trouble.
Now, I was going to simplify the dance, but she hurt my feelings a little bit because I was very excited to put this together for her and be a part of the wedding. And then she just completely shut my idea down by having someone else reach out to me and fire me before I can even...
Why did you fire her before she had a chance to just remedy the situation?
Actually, I did give her a chance to do that, and that was the first rehearsal. As I said, Judge, my expectation as a business person, when I work with vendors, you complete the service, you get paid. She came into the very first rehearsal, she didn't have a plan.
So what do you mean? You just ended the rehearsal? You just said, rehearsal's over, Miss Simmons?
We had a rehearsal for 1 hour. That's what it was planned for.
Did it go for the entire 1 hour, or did you cut it short?
It went for the entire hour, and we did not complete the job.
I told them that we would need a second rehearsal. I would come back with a simplified version of the dance. And then from there...
And you were never invited back for the second rehearsal because you got fired?
Correct.
Did you hire someone else to do the dance?
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, me and my bridesmaids, we created our own dance. We didn't use any of her steps. When we had our rehearsal, we weren't prepared, but we got it done.
Well, that's what you should have done in the first place. Because at the end of the day, you hired a professional dancer to create a routine. What I'm hearing from the testimony is Ms. Lassiter tried to send you different videos. What's your vibe? What do you want? I see from your text messages she's trying to reach out to you. You're saying no, 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 because at that point you're done because you didn't like the dance that she did. And you also never gave her a chance to ever present something that was satisfactory to you. Only 1 hour you gave her to do that.
However, I noticed immediately that we couldn't do what she did.
Right.
So,
But you said in your text messages, hold
Your
on.
Honor,
You said most of the women are dancers.
we haven't danced in years. We're
But
not
that's not
dancers.
it. Hold on, let me see. Because I don't see that in the
I
text
clearly
message.
told
Let me
her that
see.
in the conversation, Your Honor.
All right, let
I
me
was
see.
very clear about that.
Well, you did say most of the wedding party is dance, so don't worry too much about it as long as you don't make it up on the fly. So what does that mean?
I was very clear, Your Honor. As I had said, we are not dancers at this point in our lives.
But making it up on the fly it doesn't matter whether you're dancers or not if she made it up when she got there. Because sometimes she might want to see what you can do before she creates a whole dance.
But she's known me for years. She knows.
But she's never taught you a dance before.
This was before I broke my back.
The whole thing is you
Okay,
didn't trust.
so hold on. Miss Simmons, you got to make up your mind. You got to make up your mind. Either you're a dancer, so don't worry about it, which is what you said in the text, or you're a woman that broke her back, that has very little mobility. I want super simple dance steps that will be easy for me to do given the fact that I have limited mobility after breaking my back. I do not see this conversation anywhere.
We've had that conversation on the phone, and I do
All right,
apologize, Your Honor.
but you didn't give her a chance to come back.
I did.
And no, you did not. You fired her after the first rehearsal.
I did not fire her after the first rehearsal. That is not true. Because she
Well-
actually sent us she sent me TikTok videos.
Well, look,
and
All
I
right,
was still,
I'm done
I was
with it
still
because
reviewing
I'm
them.
done. I'm done. The story's all over the place now. I'm done with it.
That's what she said.
Listen, I'm done with it.
Actually, Your Honor.
I'm done hearing it. And if you say you a businesswoman one more time, I am going to knock this gavel up beside my head because any business person would know you didn't live up to the contract that you signed.
That's
For
not
that
true.
reason, judgment for the plaintiff, $1,250. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $1,250.
I had asked you
Eight
to
rehearsals,
put. I had
period.
asked
Eight
you to
rehearsals.
put together the dates.
Right.
The very beginning.
Did you come to
and you
rehearsal?
failed to do that.
If it was a mess, that's not on me.
It is on you because you failed to put those dates together.
Coming up,
The only thing I had access to was my personal email that stated, "You are officially terminated," and I still had 5 more days left in DC on this business trip that I had to financially cover and pay for myself.
closed captioning provided by. You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. Jen Scout claims her boss fired her without warning while she was on a cross-country business trip, leaving her stranded. Alex Morales says the plaintiff's airfare and hotel were fully paid for, and changing travel plans was her decision.
Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Scout versus Morales. Ms. Scout, you are suing Mr. Morales for $629, the cost for a flight change fee. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, and the defendant says that you already had a flight scheduled and you don't owe the plaintiff anything.
That's absolutely correct, Your Honor.
Okay, let's start with you, Ms. Scout. So tell me about this flight.
Yes, Your Honor. So I am suing my previous boss. The reason being is that I needed to change my flight because I was in Washington, D.C., and he fired me the very next day, and I still had a week left. I mean, what kind of sadistic person does this?
So you flew from Los Angeles to D.C.?
Yes, that is correct.
To meet a client?
I flew it was a week trip, and I flew to meet a client, yes.
All right, so you were meeting with the client. What happened so that you needed to change the flight?
The flight was delayed when I got to D.C., and
That you let nobody know about.
because of the flight change, there was also the time zone. So DC to LA is 3 hours ahead, and that was completely my fault. I completely slipped my mind, and so I missed the meeting. And so the very next day, I logged onto my computer to talk to my boss to see if I could reschedule the meeting, and I wasn't even able to get on the computer. Everything was canceled. The credit card was canceled, my chat was canceled, my email server was done. The only thing I had access to was my personal email that stated, "You are officially terminated," and I still had 5 more days left in DC on this business trip that I had to financially cover and pay for myself.
Coming up,
And what happened, Ms. Morales? I mean, that client obviously got back to you.
My client was exceptionally upset. I got a strongly worded email.
closed captioning provided by. You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake. We're back with the dispute between Jen Scout and her former boss, Alex Morales, over travel fees she paid to get home after getting fired.
So, Ms. Scout, tell the court what happened. Why did you need to change your flight?
I dropped the ball. I missed a meeting. I had some things going on in my life, and I missed a meeting.
Cost us a lot.
I understand why I was fired. I understand my termination, and I'm not arguing that today in court.
And what happened, Ms. Morales? I mean, that client obviously got back to you.
My client was exceptionally upset. I got a strongly worded email. This contract is one of our largest accounts. It's $100,000 a year. And as such a small firm, we can't afford to lose this type of client.
All right, and so you had, your company had provided, while she was working, a room and
Company
a return
credit card.
flight. The company credit card, Ms. Scout? You
Yes,
paid for it on the company credit card?
I had access to a company credit card.
All right, so did you cut that access off
Yes, he
once you
did.
fired her?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
My
But
emails, my
her
communication.
return ticket was still paid for, as well as the hotel room. You didn't kick her out of the hotel.
Absolutely not. It's not part of our process. She was terminated and was informed that her termination and contract with us was ended. And
But the room was already booked.
yes, it was.
So
Your
you
Honor.
could have stayed in DC for 5 days
Yes,
and
but
then flown home on the ticket that was previously purchased, the second half of the ticket?
that is correct, but I still had 5 days that I'd have to pay for food. I
thought of
mean,
that before.
even if I paid for food, that would be much more than the return ticket. I have family. I mentioned I have to get back to my family. I have a dog, Rozzy. I have a pit bull that I'm paying for
That's not my
someone, a dog sitter. I was expecting to get compensated with a job. I'm broke at this point. I don't have a job.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns. Promotional consideration provided by. You're watching We the People with Judge Lauren Lake.
So, Ms. Scout, as I'm listening to your testimony, I'm saying to myself, well, I have compassion for a person that has a really bad week personally and does something that they otherwise would not do. However, if the company still gave you the hotel, gave you the flight home that was already paid for, you had to make a personal choice. That was then not a professional choice you made. You made a personal choice that you'd rather come back. That is a personal decision, and that is not Mr. Morales' company's responsibility to do anything above and beyond what they've already done, which is put you in position to do your job and do it well, which you found a way not to do. For that reason, judgment for the defendant. Plaintiff's complaint is dismissed. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
Business is business, baby. What can I tell you?
Hopefully you become a better, decent human being after this.
Please follow me this way.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.